The AllStar MMA Live, the craziest post-fight show in the world. Rated #1 in China. Go fact check that if you want to, but it's the truth. We're #1 in China. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If you believe me or not,
All right, deal.
it's up to you.
I'm big in
we're
China.
#2.
That's it. There we
Yeah,
go.
Chris Daukaus is huge in China. I had to bring him back. You know what I mean? Like, we're demanding him. China was
Big in
going
China,
nuts, you
man.
know?
China
Weibo,
was
they're
going
like,
nuts.
exactly. The internet is broke over there. They don't even know what's happening. But yeah. So before we get started, make sure you guys go down into the descriptions and download the AllStar app. It's the best app in the business. You guys just download it. Just play with it. You know what I mean? Like MMA, everything's there. One championship, UFC, Bellator, PFL, stats, breakdowns, predictions, and of course this show is on it. So you gotta go get it. Man, let's talk about this main event first, man.
All right.
I don't know. I thought Araujo was gonna do much better. I thought she was gonna come out and I don't know. I didn't think she had a good game plan. Grasso, man, her striking, like when I watch it, she just has very good like head movement and as well straight punches.
She's technical.
Like she's like her straight punches are very accurate, and that's what I saw in this fight. A more improved version of that. The last couple of fights, she was doing the same exact thing, but it wasn't as effective, and she went in there against considerably a better striker, and took the shots, the heavy shots, and even when she got taken down, she got back up, and you saw Araujo abandon that strategy. Yeah. So what do you think, man?
Yeah. First round, the first round, I thought I had an inkling. Like the first round, the way that Araujo came out, I was expecting that fight. Like when I seen the first round and the way that started playing out, I was like, oh, this is how the fight's going to go. The fight's just going to go just more and more like this. But Grasso made the necessary adjustments, especially in the second round. She looked really good in the second round. And then she just slowly just started winning it. I think the fifth was good, but going from her clearly losing the first round, to clearly winning the second round, and then going into the third round, Araujo's corner was like, "Oh no, you got this," and I'm like, "No, she doesn't have this." Like her corner was telling her that she was up 2-0 or coming up like 3-0. Like, I don't know about that. That's just bad corner work on that one. Like I get it that you want to have like the best confidence for your fighter and everything like that, but you can't be lying to your fighter. And you could tell that Grasso was getting hit, and you could tell that she probably wasn't expecting that type of power coming back at her. Like it was like, and especially in the first round, it was kind of like stopping her, like not necessarily like hurting her, but she was like getting hit, and she was like, oh, okay, these are some big power punches. But she made the necessary adjustments, and clearly she got the win. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's one thing that I
and that
expected
takedown,
more of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was expecting her to kind of like walk Grasso down a little bit. Kind of like walk through her punches, because like walk through her strikes. I mean, Grasso's technical, but she's got that power, and it's someone who's technical and doesn't have that type of power. When you can hurt your opponent, and they decide that, then when they decide like, I know that you can't hurt me, and I'm just gonna walk you down, and I know I have more power than you, and I'm just gonna walk through your shots. I thought that's exactly how the fight was going to go. Like the first round, she had that mentality. But for whatever reason, Grasso made the necessary adjustments going into the second, and it was awesome. It was great. It was really good for her.
Yeah, because she's evolved too. I always thought Grasso was more of like a ground fighter, right? Like she would wrestle a little bit more, but now she's just she's turned into the, when we think of Mexican fighters, right? Like we think of fighters that want to march forward, bang, and some of them are very technical and great head movement, and she could take a shot as well. Araujo, like you said, she clipped her, and you could see the impact. Like like you see the impact. Like Grasso would hit Araujo would be stunned, but not really like like that much of an impact on her. But Grasso landed
Yeah.
just much more, and Araujo was just more impactful. I just thought that Araujo would, like you said, march forward, land harder shots, and kind of like accumulate the damage, because she's not really known as a. If you watch the last like 3 or 4 of her fights, Araujo, she lands hard, but doesn't really knock her opponents out. You know what I mean? She kind of
Yeah.
builds
Yeah.
up. You know,
She doesn't.
damage.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you were saying, she's kind of like that. Like, you have those people in the gym who are just like they're big, they're like, she's physical, like she's big, she's strong. I mean, look at her, she's yoked, she's like super
Yeah.
big, she's big as shit. Like, she's got more muscles than me. So you would expect her to use that. Like, you'd expect her to walk her down, high guard, land a good clean shots, walk into the cage, do whatever she's going to do to get in. And she was in on those takedowns, man. But Grasso's hips, she. Like, I'm watching some of the highlights in the background. Like, the moment she got taken down, she had that heavy wizard. The wizard was heavy, flipped her hips, got right up to her knees, right up to their feet, and then was framing out. And that's pretty much, that's someone who knows exactly what to do in the game plan, who's been doing that game plan and been drilling that for, weeks on end, and probably for the past couple fight games, because there's a lot of people in that weight class who really can't, keep with Grasso's technicality in the striking. So it was good.
Yeah, the last couple of fights we've seen that she's outstruck strikers, and she's still getting better, which is great to see. And this 5 rounds, man, it's good for her, because she's got 25 minutes of more experience against a high level striker, testing out what she's learned in the gym inside the cage against someone that's trying to figure her out at the same time.
Exactly.
But I don't think she's ready for a title shot, though. Like, I don't like, people are jumping too far ahead. Like, she needs to fight some more girls.
No, because if I'm being honest with you, if this wasn't a 5-round fight, if this was a regular fight, like a 3-round fight, I'm not really sure if Grasso wins this, just because of the way that, the judges are, or, like, Grasso is becoming, this was clearly, she's a 5-round fighter. I mean, you could say that she lost the first round, won the second round, and I'd have to rewatch the third round just to give you my honest opinion. But I thought Grasso was leading in the third. Going into the fourth, it was kind of like up for it. But, I mean, those little, I don't know if it's her mindset or if it's like her, like, being a fighter and like having, okay, first round, we're going to start to get going. And then, like, it's a 5-round, maybe she didn't want to like start off too quick in the first round, because 25 minutes is a really long time. And it's not fun training for 25 minutes. That sucks. So, if this wasn't a main card, a main event, the judges might have scored it the other way. But, she's becoming a 5-round fighter. And I think that the style in which that she has and that she fights with, this is gonna, really, really showcase her skill set.
Yeah. For us watching, we enjoyed that fight, but I think for casual fans, it's not a style that they would enjoy. To be honest, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, for casual fans, over 5 rounds, that style.
Because what do casual fans like, man? They like
blood.
Some of the other finishes that happened on this card. They like the quick finishes, the big knockouts and stuff like that. They don't like the technicalities of figuring someone out, figuring out world-class athletes. And that's just, people are here for blood and guts and all that, but when you get down to it, really it's the thinkers who are the best at this game.
Yeah, now when you look at what's to come next for these girls, like, Araujo, she was number 6, I believe, or number 5. They were like number 6, number 5. They probably just switched positions. If she was ahead.
Grasso.
So Grasso was number 5. Yeah. So it's hard to like justify her jumping ahead of like Andrade or Murphy or Santos.
Wouldn't.
But I think, it's she kind of just stands her position, right? But you know how the UFC rankings work. We don't know. So she's gonna probably end up jumping to number 4 or 3, right? You don't know, right?
I don't know.
You like it, and you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, they have the rankings up now. You got Caitlin Chukagian, you got Santos, you got Murphy, you got Andrade. I'll see any of those fights before I see Grasso fighting Valentina. I don't think Grasso. Not right now. Not
Yeah,
right
so
now.
if you
I
look at what
mean,
Valentina has done
yeah,
so far, she's beaten number 1, she's beaten number 2, she's beaten number 3, she's beaten
she's
number
beating all of
4.
them.
Yeah, she's beaten all of them, so
She's
they
beating
don't
all
really
of them.
justify any rematches, right? Not yet. Only person would be Santos.
True.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of people thought she won that fight
Yeah.
against Valentina, right? So
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, even though she was the challenger and she lost, I would like to see her fight for the title again, but I don't see the UFC ever doing that. When's the last time the UFC there was
I
a
don't see.
title fight and the belt didn't exchange hands, but the challenger lost and they got the title shot again? I don't know. I don't think it's
I
ever
don't think
happened.
there's ever been. I don't think
Yeah.
there's ever been one.
How do you
Yeah, and
promote
that's
that?
why I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, you could be like, oh, this is like the closest she's ever come to losing, or like,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, they could start like building controversy that, you know, there was controversy behind the decision and all this, but you know, I mean, Valentina is so dominant. It's just really, it's
Yeah, if
really
there was
like
like a
which lambs to the slaughter are we given? You know what I mean?
which laps to the slot. If there was like a controversy, like you
Yeah.
said, like one of the judges was drunk or something, like, yeah, then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's a good story though,
Yeah.
right? We'll put it out
Something.
there.
Something. Let's start it.
Yeah.
Start it right now. There
Someone,
we go.
someone
Let's
was
start it
like
right
having
now.
those little hotel bottles, those little hotel like airplane
Exactly.
little one
Someone's like this.
shotters.
They're like this in between rounds. They're
What's he drinking?
like that. They're like, oh, we're
What's
all
he,
good. It's like, don't worry
what's he
about it. Don't worry
drinking?
about it. Especially if
Um,
it's in the Apex, man.
yeah,
You can get away with
yeah.
some shit in there.
They think you can't smell like vodka on people's breath. Where did that come from? You can't smell vodka. You're a cop, so you've probably.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Because my grandmother, she's since passed, but back in the day, I remember being a kid and her being like alcoholics drink vodka because you can't smell it, and if you're like a functioning alcoholic, you just drink vodka all day. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I was like, when I started drinking, I was like, I'll just do vodka, and my parents won't know about it. Completely off, way off, dude.
Yeah,
It was just horrible. Bad advice.
it is. It is. It's
And like you
horrible,
said, I have
man.
no idea where that came from.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. But if Grasso was to fight, next, I think she should fight. I think she should test herself against like a Lauren Murphy. That's a little bit different style, right? Like
Yeah,
Lauren Murphy, she's a scrapper.
yeah,
She doesn't go away easy.
yeah,
She can strike. She can.
yeah.
She's not the best at striking, and she's not really the best at grappling. But her grappling's
No,
at to a level I think
no.
she could put Grasso on her back, and keep her there, and
Yeah,
maybe do some major damage. Let's see if Grasso can survive that.
yeah,
Because Araujo, she put her on her back, but she didn't do anything with it. She kind of just was struggling to
yeah,
get to good positions. Yeah, so I
yeah.
think
Definitely, yeah,
Murphy's sitting there at number 3. I think Grasso and Murphy, if they have a main event that they need to fill somewhere, I think that's a good main event somewhere.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, I mean, but then you got to think about, Caitlyn. I mean, if you build that as the next main event, that's going to be the next title challenger. Whoever wins that, there's going to be a lot of people who are upset, especially Caitlyn. Seeing how she's sitting at number 1, she's she's definitely going
Caitlin's
to be
about to
wanting.
fight, I think. She's about to fight the
She
number
is, right?
7, Furiat. Yeah, she's gonna fight number
Yeah,
7, Furiat.
that's what
And
I
I
thought.
think
Yeah,
they're
so
trying
I
to
mean,
set up Furiat for the next title fight. That's what I think they're
all
trying
right,
to do. Because she's
all
a
right, all
striker
right.
as well.
Yeah,
She goes in there and she's a berserker, right? She will go in there
yeah,
and hunt for the finish. And I think that
yeah,
is probably gonna happen. If Caitlyn wins, she'll probably just sit there at number 1. If she loses
yeah,
and Furiat goes there and finishes her, they're gonna push her to fight Valentina because that's a striker versus striker matchup, and you could sell that
yeah.
very
It'll be
well.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's someone that she hasn't fought, so obviously
yeah.
people are going to be like, okay, let's watch this. You know what I mean?
There's gonna be a lot of that. And when you have a dominant champion like that, there's a lot of like setting up the next group of
Yeah,
challengers against
yeah,
the ones that already fought for the title. And if you win,
yeah,
then they're gonna push you into that spot, right?
yeah. Because look at what we're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, Valentina's going through everyone, and it's not like besides Santos, it's not like any of them have really been close.
Mhm.
Like all those people are super nice. Like every time I have like interactions with these girls and everything, they're super nice. But
Yeah.
It's not close, man. I'm sorry, it's not
No,
close.
no,
It's
not.
just not close.
Even the Andrade, I thought the Andrade fight was going to be very close, and Valentina went in there
I
and
thought,
just
yeah. Out of all of
great.
them, out of all of them, I thought Andrade was probably have the best shot. But dude, I mean, she's really good. Like, she's really fucking good. Like,
Ahead of
she'd
the
probably beat my ass. Like, she's really fucking good.
yeah, she's like that deep. What is it? That high crotch single leg. She's really good at
Yeah,
that. Like, and she'll dump
yeah,
somebody on their
she
head.
is. Yeah, but here's the
Just-
thing. This is my comment and concern with women's MMA and the top tier of women's MMA. Valentina needs to stop going for the head and arm throws because that got her in trouble on her last fight with Santos. So please forget that. Get that out of your head. If I could add one word of advice, please just get that the fuck out of your head, please.
Why do
that
you
shit
think
doesn't
that
work.
works? No,
That shit
but
doesn't
it
work.
does work. It does work in women's MMA because you see it
In women's
happening.
MMA,
Yeah,
all the
but
fucking
why
time,
does it
and
not
it
work
needs to
in men's
stop. Yeah.
MMA?
I think it's the upper body strength. I think men have the ability with the upper body strength to fight off that position better than women. Now, John, you're gonna get me fucking canceled with this shit. You're gonna get me canceled with this shit.
Nah,
I'm talking
what
about
type of canceling is
women,
that?
strengths and strengths. No, but seriously, it's like you said, it's rampant in women's MMA. I don't know why it's that way. Maybe it's because of like I said, the lack of upper body strength to be able to fight off that position or those. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's something that
just
I've
stop.
asked other
Just stop.
fighters. Yeah, I've asked other
Just stop.
fighters though, and they kind of think that because Ronda Rousey, she did it over and over and over again. Like it was just so easy for her
but
back in the day.
well, she's a judoka, and
Yeah.
obviously that's exactly what she's going to be doing. But yeah, I think it's like, but that's like a sacrifice throw. Like that's a throw that you go, and there's no like, oh, I'm going to half-ass this throw. It's 100% this throw, and if you miss it, you miss it, and you're in the worst position because you're either face down on all fours after you throw and you miss, or you're just rolling to your back. So I mean, I wouldn't do it, but who am I?
Hopefully I never get tossed like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Now, before we move on to the co-main event, which was very interesting to watch, did The Rock ever get back to you on that situation?
Nah. Rock never got back to me, dude. I pissed off a lot of people. Apparently, like I never said anything bad about The Rock. I just said the shoes in which The Rock is pushing, I don't like. I think that they're a shitty quality shoe. Like I've had.
That's a fair opinion. That's a fair opinion. Though.
It's like. In my opinion, and here's the thing. All right. In my opinion, there were certain Reebok shoes in which I think are the best shoes that the UFC, since I've had my time in the UFC, there's certain Reebok shoes where I would take them all day. But there's also other Reebok shoes where I consider them to be on the same line as the Rocks. I think they fucking suck. So I think it's really just the style and, like the blue, the old school blue and black Reeboks and the red and black Reeboks. They were hard. I hated those fucking things. I don't even have them anymore. I threw them all out. But like we would get like all white Reeboks, which were awesome, or like gray ones. They were awesome. Like I still have them. They're up in my closet. Like I'll work out in them, or I'll wear them out or do whatever. Those ones I'm cool with.
The original Reeboks, right? The ones that they have laces, but you don't really need to have the laces. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I bought those shoes just because Reebok was supporting the UFC. I was like, let me go test these shoes out. They suck. Like really, like I still have them in my closet because I don't like wearing them. They're just too tight, and they have the pumps on it too. It's like it's so tight. Why do you have the pumps on the same time? It's
no one likes that shit. No one likes that shit.
Who did you piss off though? Like people were messaging you like Under Armour's the best.
Random people, like random people were like, dude, you don't fucking know anything. These shoes are sucks. The Rock's for the fighters. I was like, Rock ain't for. He's not. He doesn't give a shit about the fighters. I mean, like he'd be like cool, like, but he's not fucking doing anything for the fighters. Like he's not like giving me an extra like $50K to wear his shit, or like he's not helping me out. It's all part of the deal, man. I mean, maybe my anger wasn't anger, just my dislike of the shoes weren't projected towards The Rock. They were projected.
No.
They should have been projected towards. I guess they're Under Armour shoes, right? Yeah, they're Under Armour shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are.
yeah. Under Armour shoes fucking suck. Even when I was in high school and like played sports, I never wore Under Armour because like I'd much rather wear Reeboks or Nikes because I thought that they were a better fitting shoe and a better shoe for whatever sport I played. Under Armour sucks. Fuck Under Armour.
I'm not like the best at buying shoes, so like I was at Costco, and this was like last year I think, and I bought some Under Armour shoes because they were selling them at Costco, like running shoes, and I was like, let me test these Under Armour shoes out because I've never wore Under Armour shoes, but they do suck because they started ripping, and I was just running in them. It's like, how does a shoe start ripping when you start running in them? And I was just like, oh, they're selling them at Costco as well, you know, for like 50% discount. So I'm just like, it is what it is, you know. Now I gotta go out and spend some good money if I want good shoes.
Dude,
but yeah.
Dude, ask my strength and conditioning coach. I had the same pair of shoes. They were like New Balance or like Nike running shoes. And I would lift in them. I would do my circuits in them. I would do like track workouts in them. I had them for years to where like instead of like the soles being flat, it'd be like the one side was all like worn down. So like it was like starting to mess with like my ankles and shit. It was like giving me like knee pain. And my strength and conditioning coach was like, dude, he goes, you're in the UFC. You've made some money. Buy new fucking shoes. Like fine. I'm like, I can't, dude. I gotta, you know, I'm keeping these shoes until they rip. And the laces ripped. Like the sides of them started opening up. So I was like, all right, fine. I gotta get new shoes now. So you said what a lot of people wanted to say, and fans, they have no say in it because who gives a fuck what the fans think about the shoes? You know what I mean? Like they don't have to wear them. They're not wearing them. They're not wearing them.
So
it's
no big deal for them. Fucking The Rock, this guy. You know.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people don't like The Rock. You're not like behind the scenes. There's people that don't like The Rock, and I was like, The Rock is an inspirational guy.
He is like he's all about like getting up at like 5 a.m. like working out. Like cool, man. That's cool.
But USADA's not knocking on his door every couple of months, and people don't realize.
Like they're not. Yeah. They're like, oh, he's hard work and dedication. No, he's fucking not. He's pharmaceutical up. Like, come on, man. Like that dude's all types of jacked up. Like I get it. He's cool. Like some of his movies are awesome. Other ones are not.
They are.
But
they are.
Yeah. Like I'm really excited for Black Adam. Like I want to watch Black Adam. Like my kids like all excited about Black Adam. I want to watch it. But now I feel like a hypocrite. Like going to see Black Adam. Like my coach Will. He's like, you can't go see Black Adam. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you said The Rock sucks. I said The Rock shoes suck. I said The Rock shoes suck. Not him as an actor. Certain movies he does.
Someone's gonna be at the movies like this. Like I saw Chris Daukaus at The Rock's movie. He's a hypocrite.
There he goes, right there. Fuck this dude. Oh, God.
TMZ's out there fucking with you and shit.
Dude, that's when you know you make it big time. Yeah, that's when you know you make it big. When I'm going to my local movie theater and TMZ shows up. How'd you like Black Adam? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Another guy that people like, I like his movies. I think he's a great actor and stuff, but let's keep it real. Mark Wahlberg, he's on some shit. Like, he doesn't wake up at 4 a.m. every morning and look like that and just work all day and just do all of that shit. It's like, yo, you got to be. People don't understand how much like steroids is rampant in just regular gyms, like CrossFit, all of that. Like this, it's serious, like major. That's why you see dudes,
and even not like, even not like shit like that you're injecting, but like if you're not going like anabolic shit, like, but if you're just doing like shit that's not allowed by like USADA, like that shit, but like, you know, like that shit's rampant in like other gyms. Like you'd have like guys who are just coming to jiu-jitsu class who are like trying to get better. Like they want to do like, you know, maybe they do like the local like Naga or Grappler's Quest, or maybe they do like a super fight here and there. Like they're on some shit, but it's like they're like a local carpenter. Like, you know, it might be on some other shit too, but you know, like
your mailman walks up.
Yeah. Yeah, he's walking. He's like this. He's like, yo, dude, relax. Like, relax, man. It's
2 weeks later, your mailman walks up. Everything's tight, just ripping off.
Everything's tight. He's got fire hoses coming out of his arms. You're like, what the fuck is that? It's just crazy. But like you were saying, like everyone's making a big deal about like Chris Hemsworth and like him, like that motherfucker is on. He's all over steroids. Like it's not that. How do you get the body of Thor just by working? What are you going to work out 12 hours a day and eat 500 calories and just be shredded? Stop.
Bro, there's some good doctors out there, man. Doctors, there's like a lot of shit out there. These doctors know and can provide people, and these are regular people. You could go out there and take it. There's no problem. Like you're the mailman. You want to go to jiu-jitsu competitions and be jacked. That's kind of a weird thing, though. But that's kind of a weird thing because just like you're competing against dudes that are just like weekend warrior type dudes. You know, they go to class a couple times a week and they want to compete, and then you got this other dude coming in that's been on juice for like the last 6 months, comes in, just fucking rips people apart. You know what I mean? You're not in. Look at ADCC. Come on, let's be real.
You want to be real about this? You want to be ADC? You were being real about this, right? I'm gonna get in trouble again. ADCC doesn't have a drug testing program, right?
I don't think.
To the best of my knowledge, I don't know. I don't think
like,
they do because if they did, then all of the guys would fail, in my opinion, or 95% of them would fail. Like, I don't get this. Like,
it's the Lance Armstrong thing. It's the Lance Armstrong thing. Like when he popped, like the whole, like the 15 all the way to the 16th guy.
That's what it was. Yeah, they had to go back 16 guys. Yeah,
exactly. Like that's.
Everyone's on some shit. Everyone's on steroids. Yeah. Nick and Nate Diaz said it best. Everybody's on fucking steroids.
For real. That quote has lasted for like 15 years. And it's
Dude,
very,
it's
very
the fucking truth, man. It's the truth.
Very, very true.
All the people that you go on Instagram to get all motivationally, inspired to wake up in the morning, they're all fucking roided up. Everybody's on steroids.
That's the thing is like right now I was training and a lot of the steroids that people use, like regular people use, is for recovery, right? Like if they have injuries and stuff, they'll get like injections and shit like that, right? And you hear about it from people here and there. And I was like, someone was like, yeah, man, you should just take fucking TRT and because what I heard is the stack is TRT and HGH is the stack that regular dudes will take to just be jacked in within a month and then train hard and not really get injured very often, recover well. And they were like, you should get on that. And I was like, dude, I'm trying to do a project. I'm trying to do this fucking project where I'm trying to be a fighter to the best of my knowledge, right? Which means you can't be taking steroids. Like there's like fighters are not like, if you want to be you can't be taking, that's unethical for me to just take steroids and then like rip through everybody and say, I'm gonna go fight somebody. And it's like,
I'm with you.
That didn't prove anything, right? I'm with
you on that. But
you're with me. I thought you said you were with them. Like, I should take steroids.
No. I mean shit. I mean everyone else fucking taking everybody's on some fucking steroids. I mean when it comes to millions of dollars and all that, you got to think people are always looking for the advantage. I mean, shit, look at TJ. Not to bring this back up, but shit, TJ, I mean, he's fighting next weekend?
Yeah.
And Aljo already came out and said, I'm already fully expecting TJ to be on something. Like, fuck. Yeah, EPO, man. Like, that's hard shit. Yeah. That's like going right to, like, heroin. Like, that's like hard shit. That's super dangerous.
Major science.
Like, really
that's major science right there. Like,
that's really fucking dangerous. Like, because EPO, like Lance Armstrong was doing all that. All those dudes said that they had to get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, like every couple hours, because their blood was thickening up so much that they would literally die if they didn't work out. Like to get the blood flowing. Like that shit's fucking crazy, dude. Like that's too fucking much. Like that's miss me with that shit. Like, no, I ain't doing that. No, thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. That shit's nuts. Let's move on to the co-main event. Cub Swanson. Yeah. He drops down to bantamweight. He looks pretty good, right? His body doesn't look too like shrunk down. He looked like he recovered pretty good. Yeah. But Jonathan Martinez, man, that lefty, that lucky left kick,
inside leg kick, man.
Oh, nasty. And he was clipping them with the hands too. Like it wasn't like he just outstruck him like completely. Yeah. Jonathan Martinez just had a breakout performance. Basically, that's what it was.
Pretty much. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. The Cubs obviously this is like his 30th UFC / WEC fight. But dude, Cub's he's like a berserker. He's like a blitz guy. He'll do his little thing and then he'll jump in at you, hit you a bunch of times and doing all that. But what's his face was landing that left, and he was digging, and he was kicking the knee. He wasn't like kicking the shin. He was like really like digging in on that knee, and that's really, I think, what damaged Cub. I mean, then I even seen a tweet saying that Cub told him that he popped the rib earlier in like a first scramble in the first round, and he that played a factor as well. So. I don't know, but that dude looked fucking good, man. He looked good. Yeah. That left,
he was flowing.
That left kick, yeah,
he was flowing.
That left kick. All them dudes out there, they're all from what is that, Factory X out there in in Colorado. Some dangerous motherfuckers out there, man.
Good team out there, man. I talked to a lot of those guys at Factory X, and they got a good mixture of guys too. Like they don't have like just one set of weight classes. They have like guys at like heavyweight, middleweight, and they got guys at like bantamweight and featherweight, even lightweight. So it's great. Now with Cub, man, does he stay at bantamweight? Like, because the cut, it has to be hard, man. Because he's what, 30? I think he's like
super
38
lean.
years old. Yeah,
and he's super lean already. I mean, I don't know. Does he stay? I mean, this is super late in his career, I would think, right? Does he want to put his body through this? I mean, you don't know how he felt in there. You don't know how he rehydrated and how he felt the day of. I think that plays a major factor as far as like whether you're going to keep doing the weight cut or if you're just going to go back to doing what you've already been doing for the past, his 30 UFC fights or his 29 UFC fights / WEC fights. So. I mean, but the thing that was like kind of scary, not scary, but like you kind of could tell, I think maybe the weight cut played a factor was his face was touching him in the legs and then he'd catch him up top. And when he caught him in the head with like certain head strikes, like Cub doesn't really like get hurt that much. And like I think he was on the cage. Cub was like on the cage, like covered up. And what's face hit him with the elbow or like the left hand, and Cub he moved, and then he was just like, I'm just gonna sit down, and he just like sat down, and like Cub doesn't do that. Like that's not something that Cub normally does. So I don't know if it's the weight cut factor as far as being able to take a shot, or if it's just the like elephant in the room and Cub being the older guy in the UFC. So I don't know.
The thing about Cub is like he doesn't really have a great poker face. Like he'll take shots and they don't really hurt him, but when it does hurt him, you could tell it's in every fight when he gets hurt, right? Yeah. And like you said, if he popped a rib and Johnny was hitting that left kick to the body, ooh.
Yeah, even if it was on the opposite side, like even if I pop my rib on my left side and you're ripping the right body kick. Like that's what people don't realize. Like that shit still fucking hurts. Like everything hurts. Yeah. Like the fighting, nothing feels good. Like just go shin to shin with someone. Like literally, like go to like your door frame and kick your door frame.
Don't
like
do that.
No, go do that. Go to the fucking door frame and kick the door frame, right? And you feel how that feels. It feels the same way going both ways. Like the person who's like checking might it like I always think it like it didn't hurt me that bad because I'm checking, I'm stopping the kick. It shit still fucking hurts, man. Like when I fought Curtis Blades, like he hit me with like probably like a total of like 8 leg kicks, 10 leg kicks, maybe like half of them were calf kicks. I flew home Sunday. And then I flew back to like Florida for like family vacation on Tuesday. I couldn't fucking walk for a week and a half. No, I'm not even kidding you. Like I'm on like family vacation and I'm renting like a jazzy scooter because my leg blew up. It all blew like my leg was like 3 times the size. Yeah, dude. Like that's what people don't get. Like this shit fucking sucks.
I get it.
But hey, you get it. You get it because you train. You're like training for a fight and all that, but the casuals, as we were saying about like, Cub was like, if he quit or those leg kicks fucking hurt, man. Especially like if you go low inside and then you go to the thigh and then you rip that knee. Like I think the last one that he actually put Cub down with was across the knee, and like Cub didn't turn his knee in to check it at all. He didn't try to like counter off of it. He just ate that clean. Like a lot of guys don't realize if you catch someone with a super deep leg kick, like you could tear like their knee apart. Like that's what people are like, oh, just leg kick me. I'm like, bro, like you could literally never walk the same ever again. You could not run for the rest of your life. Like that's what people don't realize.
It reminds me of like the Uriah Hall Anderson Silva. It was Anderson Silva, Jared Cannonier. Cannonier hit him with that inside leg kick
across his knee,
and he just his knee buckled and it was over. The fight, it kind of was similar to that, like what Cub did, because after that he just collapsed and just covered up. You know,
that's it. He just collapsed. He literally collapsed, rolled over himself, and just covered up. Like that's what people don't realize. Like you're just like, I'll just take a leg kick, no big deal. The adrenaline will get me through. No, it won't. No. Now when your ship blows up.
When I was at Bang Tao, right, and there's a fighter. He's fighting next weekend for Road to UFC. Top Noi. He's a Muay Thai fighter, but he fights MMA now. Yeah. And he's a guy that's very good to train with. But we were doing like checks with like shin to shin checks, very light. You know what I mean? And very light. Like we would hit hit like this. We would hit like this, right? Like this. Our legs shin to shin. And I would not. Like I put my foot back down and I'm just like, oh fuck, dude. And then Top Noi, he's had like 100-something Muay Thai fights, right? He's been training Muay Thai.
And he's just laughing at you. And he's just laughing at you.
He's just laughing. Like, and he keeps trying to like clip my leg. You know, he's just trying to do it more and more to me. I'm just like, yo, let's chill. Yeah. Dude.
It's like
I'm not looking forward to like going full blast like that. That is the worst. Full blast. Oh my God.
Dude, it is what it is, man.
Yeah,
you have to accept it. It's gonna happen. You're accepting it. This is gonna. It's like I'm gonna kick him, or he's gonna kick me. And when we both decide to go, it's gonna fucking suck. Yeah, and you just have to accept that because we're literally throwing bones at each other.
So. For real, like that reminds me of Dahmer. Have you watched some of that yet?
No. Because I already know what Dahmer did. I don't need to watch it for the 30th time. I know what Dahmer did.
It's not like that good though, to be honest. Like I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched like a first couple episodes.
Everyone's making out to be like the greatest thing ever.
Nah, it's not that good. I stopped watching it. I just stopped watching it.
Well, you see one serial killer. You see one. One serial killer. You know all the serial killers, man. It's not that difficult. They kidnap you. They like have like weird sex stuff with you. They kill you, and then they probably have the weird sex stuff with you again, and then they eat you, and that's pretty much it. Like that's all serial killers across the board.
But what he was doing was he was like putting the bones in the oven to soften the bones, and he was smashing the bones with a hammer into dust. That's what he was doing, and that reminded me of like
to like his neighbors. Like he fed people to his neighbors too.
Yeah, I didn't get to that part yet, but yeah, I stopped watching.
No, that's like what he really did. Like he like his neighbor like asked for like meat or something. He's like, yeah, I got meat. Hold on.
I'm having a potluck next weekend.
You're gonna love it. Give me a second. Yeah, give me a second, babe. You're gonna love this kind of meat I got.
Who's got the roast beef?
I got the rump roast, babe. No problem.
Someone was in the comments. Let me put this comment up. Let me see. About Cub, because to me it's like I like to see Cub fight, but I think he should go back up to 145, his regular weight class. And Hayden was saying that I don't know if it's true, but a Korean YouTuber said Cub said he wants to fight Doo Ho Choi again. Do y'all think that'll happen? I think that's a great fight. We haven't seen the Korean Superboy in years. He's been injured. He's been taking care of.
Has he been injured?
That stuff. Yeah, he's been injured the whole time. Okay. They're about to have the card in Korea in February. And I heard that he's gonna be.
Is it in February or is it
early February?
Or is that the Perth? The Perth is in the end of February.
Also,
right?
Yeah, Perth is at the end of February. Korea will be at the beginning of February, February 4th, from what I heard.
Okay.
And the Korean Superboy is going to come back on that card. Maybe one of the
Okay.
Daukaus brothers could get on that card. I don't know. You know,
Bro,
what I mean?
I'm the international traveler. Out of the Daukaus brothers, I am the international traveler. You gotta like kill Kyle to get him out of the house or out of Philadelphia. That dude hates traveling. He hates traveling. I mean,
we
we both hate
get
flying.
Daukaus on the co-main event. You know, who knows?
Let's go. I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah.
We both hate flying, but if you're paying me and I'm going to go fist fight someone halfway across the world, sign me up. Sign me
Well,
up.
he's gonna have to go anyways, right? Because he's gonna be in the corner. So
I don't know, man. Last time it happened, he said, "I'm not going." I said, "All right, cool, no problem." So he's probably be like, "No, I'm not going."
Very simple. I think that's a good fight for Cub. I think he should go back to 145, do the rematch, and they could probably even make that a co-main event in Korea. I mean, Korean Superboy versus Cub. They could hype it
like
up.
That.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Jonathan
think
Martinez, he calls out
work.
Dominic Cruz. What about that?
I seen that too. I did see that. I was like curious to see what Dom would say, but you know, Dom's a professional. He didn't, say anything. I'm sure Dom wanted to be like, "Kid, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm not fighting you." But yeah, that'll be a good fight. That'll be like a real test. But that's like a fast track to like. I mean, he beat the kid, just beat Cub. That's like, a super high level jump to where it's like there's not many people after Dominic that you would fight if you beat Dominic. Like, who's you gonna fight? Like, Jan, Sterling, like all those guys are right there after Dom. I mean, I consider Dom to be like Dom's right outside of the cusp of the top 3 or 4 guys who you consider to be fighting for the title right now. I mean, obviously Aljo and TJ are up next, and then Jan and O'Malley, right?
Yeah,
they're the next card, and I think Dom is like right outside of that, right outside of those 4. So I mean, if that dude wants to jump right in, jump right in. I mean, word of advice, I jump right in. Take it a little slow, but shit, fuck it. You getting paid, getting your name out there, and if he could do it, I think Dom's going to take some time off. Dom's smart, especially after getting stopped the way he did against Cheeto. So,
yeah. But I think I've interviewed Jonathan Martinez in the past. He's very soft spoken. He doesn't really say much. You know what I mean? He's a hard.
That was the most that was the most respectful call out ever. He's like, I fight Dom if he's cool with fighting me. Like, Dom, I respect you. Let's get into a fist fight. Like, now if you're gonna call somebody out, call them the fuck out. Be like, Dom, you fucking suck. I want to beat your ass and make it a whole big spectacle. Sad everyone gets paid.
Jump over the cage wall. He's right there commentating.
Yeah, right.
Point at him.
And just be like, fuck
you. You don't even have to say anything. You just go out there.
Just point at him like, just jump over the cage, stand on top of the table, and just go, you're next. And then just go back into the cage and don't say anything. And then when Paul Felder comes in, to interview you, just be like, no, and just walk out. It's like, Dom knows what I said. Mick and Sean, they'll be getting a text from me soon about who I'm fighting next, and it's Dominic fucking Cruz. That's exactly what you do.
Well, that would have been lovely if he did that. That everybody been.
Dude, the world, the MMA Twitter would have lost its damn mind. He would have been the talk of the town for the next, until next week's card happens. So
yeah, next week's card is pretty insane. Yeah, Jonathan Martinez, I think he should jump into the deep end. I think he should fight somebody. If he could get Dominic Cruz, get Dominic Cruz. If he needs to wait for Dominic Cruz, I say wait for Dominic Cruz for maybe next year sometime.
If they guarantee you, like, if they're like, okay, you can have Dominic Cruz, but it's not going to be until, like you said, next year. That's probably when you wait it out, right?
For sure.
I would think so.
Yeah, I think you wait for the guy. But the thing, going back to the Cub thing, I think Cub said, like, I asked Cub like years ago, because they fought years ago, man. The Korean Superboy Cub. I asked him and
probably 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and Cub's always said that he would fight the Korean Superboy again. He's always said that, so I don't think a Korean YouTuber is anything like breaking news or anything like that, because he's been saying that for a long time. Let's look at the other matchup here.
Okay.
The Dusko Todorovic versus Jordan Wright. That was a crazy fight, right? That's probably the fight of the night.
Bro,
Would
they
you
were
give
just
that fight of the night?
yeah, they were slanging. Yeah, I mean, but Wright is like Wright just seemed he just I don't want to like talk bad about Wright. It's the way that when he fights, when he gets hit, it looks like it hurts. Like it looks like everything hurts. Like even if he gets hit with a jab, it should know like the way he like reacts and the way his body like naturally, I guess, just naturally reacts to just getting hit. It looks like he's not comfortable, and it looks like his body just doesn't know how to like take a punch. But I wasn't expecting the way like Wright to come out. I thought they were just gonna like the way that they started round 2. I was expecting them to just all right, ready, go, and just go from there. And like the first round, I didn't expect the whole grappling exchanges and Wright trying to take him down and all that. I wasn't expecting all that.
Yeah, that was interesting, man. Dusko, he's a problem, man. He's still young too. I think he's gonna be a pretty decent fighter, as he develops. And they just need to give him fights like this. They need to give guys like Wright to him and see what he can do, develop himself. But he's devastating, man. He's kind of like to me, he's like I think he fought Puna Soriano. He's kind of like that too. Puna's in that way. He just needs more experience, develop that skill set, but got devastating power, man. Alonzo Menafield, Jesus Christ.
That dude, man. He's just mean. When you fight that dude, when you fight him, you just know that dude's upset at you about something. Whether it's real, whether you really said something, or like he said in his last fight, he's like, I just made shit up in my head that this dude was like the biggest piece of shit in the world, and I just needed to fucking just go beat his ass. Like, you're like, what are you talking about? Like, I get it. I get like certain people have to find certain things, but that dude just fights like he just hates you. Like, you could be the nicest person, and he'll find a reason just to hate you. But dude, no bullshit. That dude touches people, and they go to sleep.
Misha Serkinov, man, like he came into the league, like it's like NBA or something. He came into the league like he was good, man. He was like he reached the top 15. He was ranked. He was doing pretty solid, and then somehow it just like he hit like a glass ceiling or something, man. Because that was his 4th loss in a row, and he's been through some shit too in his life, right? I think his wife went through cancer, and like there's a lot of personal stuff going on.
Yeah,
but outside of that
plays a major factor.
Yeah, people don't understand, man. That stuff can like really deter a fighter's career, man. There's a lot of fighters out there that were super talented, but shit that happened outside of the gym, shit that happened outside of the cage, had affected like how they mentally went into the gym. You know what I mean? How they mentally went into fights, and they just wasn't present, and it just didn't work out for them. There's a lot of guys like that. You guys know because you guys train with some of those guys that you're like, yo, how come you're not in the UFC? How come you're not even a champion? Like in some promotion, man, you're just fucking good as shit. It's just shit happens,
there's
man.
dudes who are in the gym. Yeah, there's just dudes who are in the gym who are really fucking good, but for whatever reason, they can't put it in. They can't put it together when the time needs to be. Whether it's personal issues or performance based or whatever it is, they just can't do it. And you're just like, all right, man. Like, if you could just figure that out, a little bit, your life would change. You would perform how we all know that you should be performing. So sometimes it's like you said, it's personal shit, and it's just personal things, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like like you said, he came in out of nowhere. I was really excited. I was a fan of him. I'm still a fan of him, but you said he's lost his last 4. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. Like you said, like it's like he's got the glass ceiling. I don't know if he's actively gotten I won't say like he hasn't gotten better, but like he hasn't tried to improve his skill set. Like he's like, okay, I got to the UFC. Like this is the skill set that I have, and this is the skill set I'm going to stick with. And I think that type of mentality is definitely like a really bad mentality, especially when you're in the UFC.
And also like the matchups that they were giving him, sometimes you have to be smart about the next fight you take. I mean, if whatever position you're in is it's different. It's still a business. It's still a business, right? You still have to make business moves and
smart business
Menafield,
decisions.
It's Menafield.
And if you're not going to do that, and if you're not going to do that, Yeah.
You run into Menafield.
Menafield
you
probably
run
wasn't the
into-
best one.
No,
That probably
it's
wasn't the
not.
best one.
But
then it
I would
also
like to
was
see.
like,
Yeah.
you know, you could get. I'm sorry.
I was like, I would like to see like, because where do you go from here with Misha, right? Like, most likely he's not going to come back to the
he
UFC.
probably, in all honesty, no, he's probably going to get cut. You know, and that sucks because I don't like that. You worked your ass off to get to the UFC. It just sucks that you know, obviously, you get cut. Like no one wants that. That's always a thought in the back of every fighter's mind about losing their job and going from the league and being on the top of the sport to be like, where am I fighting for next? And that's, I mean, look at not to change the subject, but look at Aspen Ladd, man. She just got cut, but she got picked up by PFL. So that's really.
But she's in a totally different position than Misha Sirnoff, though. Let's be
true.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, at least Sirnoff makes weight. So.
Yeah. Well,
great.
The thing about that is there's
Sirnoff,
leagues out there that you can go to, right? Like it's not like it was 5-10 years ago where there was like the UFC and the drop off was like massive. Now you got PFL, you got Bellator, you got One Championship, you got promotions outside like KSW, like what is it, ACAs out there. Like you could go fight. It's just do you want to do that? Do you want to go fight for those?
Do you want to do that? Do you want to go to? I know a buddy of mine, Zach Makovsky, fights for ACA, and he's got to fly to. He flies all the way out to like Bulgaria and like all those. But with tough. fighting with those promotions, it's tough. It's tough, but fighting those promotions, you're going to be fighting their guy, and that's bad to say, and it's like you hope that that's not like a thing in this sport, but it's a thing in this sport. You know what I mean? Like the people outside of the UFC, PFL, and like Bellator, like sometimes that happens, man, and it sucks.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Like they want you to come and make a name off Zach Makovsky, man. They want to. He's UFC guy. He's fought for like a lot of the best promotions. Fought big names, beat big names, and they want to bring you in.
Yeah.
And, they're not gonna. They'll treat you good, but at the same time, the promotion will treat you good. But how will the other teams treat you? Because it's a different world, outside of the U.S. and these major promotions, right? They're more cordial. I've heard many stories, not good stories, of fighters going over to like these countries and having terrible experiences, man. Like insane. Like I'm like, what? Yeah. That doesn't even sound real, but it happens all the time. People don't realize it, and you guys hear it too,
especially
probably.
During the actual. Especially during the actual fights, like with judging and things like that. And I'm just pissed off because I think that Zach should have won his last two fights, and he didn't win his last two fights because he fought their dudes. So fuck that place.
There's no appeal process.
That's all I gotta say.
There's no appeal process.
There's an appeal process here, but there's still no appeal process here.
Yeah.
So,
But at least there's criticism over here. You know what I mean? Like people get attacked.
At least there's criticism. So. I mean, look at me. Like shit. Like I said, the Rock shoes suck, and everyone's been going for fucking 3 weeks now. It's crazy.
Making headlines. With.
I'm gonna have the Rock. I'm gonna have the Rock at my gym with a film crew trying to fight me. Watch.
Hey. Let's do it. That's a payday right there, right? You're a prize fighter.
Just pass the USADA test, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, that's happening.
Let's see if we can pass the USADA test.
Another interesting thing that happened on this card. Another interesting thing was Mike Jackson. You know who Mike Jackson is? The guy that fought CM Punk.
I know of Mike Jackson. Yeah. I've seen.
So basically, he's like he's a guy that trained. He's fought. But he doesn't have like the best record in MMA. He's fought like boxing and kickboxing and stuff, but he's trained for a long time, trained with pro teams all over the country. And a lot of people hate him. He's the guy that I think Dana White said that you're never going to fight again in UFC. Now he's actually fought a couple times since then. He's actually a MMA media guy.
I think Ariel Helwani actually put a tweet out. Yeah.
What was the tweet?
Helwani was like, congratulations on like 6.5 years. was like congratulations on 6.5 years in the UFC or something like that.
Yeah,
Or like
yeah,
congratulations for like 5 or 6 years in the UFC. Yeah.
yeah.
Which, to be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to be making it this long.
Nobody,
To be honest with you.
nobody did.
I thought he was brought in. I thought he was brought in to fight CM Punk, and then that was it.
Yeah.
To be
And
honest,
then he
I thought
fought.
that was it. But
I think he fought Mickey Gall, lost. Then he fought
Mickey
Dean
Gall,
Barry,
yeah,
and then he fought this guy Pete. But Pete Rodriguez just put the stamp on it, man. Mike Jackson, I actually don't mind. I've interviewed him a
bro,
bunch of times. Basically he's a media member that
yeah,
is fighting in the UFC. That's like nobody has done that. Nobody. Think about that.
no,
Like nobody.
no,
Like he has
and
a
that's crazy.
perspective of the
Yeah,
sport that nobody has on the media side, I don't think at all. Like this dude is actually fought in the UFC. It's like Ariel Helwani. I don't even know how big he is, but maybe he's fighting at lightweight. Let's say Ariel Helwani is fighting at lightweight. He goes in there and fights like Terrence McKinney.
I think he's, yeah.
Think about that. Like, what would happen if he went in
I
there
think you're good. Yeah, that would be nuts.
and fought a
He would
Terrence
get
McKinney,
slept.
you know,
No
guy
offense,
that's
Ariel.
coming up,
He would,
right? Terrence
yeah,
McKinney would
yeah.
rip him to shreds,
Yeah,
right?
he gets
It's
slept.
like me. Like I
Yeah.
go fight featherweight if I really did cut down, right? Right now I'm walking around at like 170 or something like that, right? So if I really lost weight, and
man,
cut
you
down,
can make 35. You'll be all right.
Nah, come on, man. I don't want to die like
can make
that. But let's
35,
say
you'll be all right.
I fought at
You'll be all right.
featherweight and I
You'll be
jumped
all
in there against like even a Chase Hooper, right? He would destroy me to shreds.
He would
Like,
strangle. He would strangle
yeah.
the shit out of you.
Yeah, and I would
literally
die.
strangle you. Yeah, he would kill you.
Mike Jackson is
Yeah.
doing that for real. For real. Like that's what he's doing. I
Yeah.
gotta give him respect, man. I gotta give him a lot of respect for going out there and putting himself out there like that because he gets so much ridicule, like so much hate. And people just glance over like who he is, like what he has done. You know what I mean? Like they act
Well,
like
why
he's
does he
been
get
fighting
hate,
forever.
Is it
I think he does things
that he
too.
gets hate?
Yeah.
Or is it like shit he's doing? All right, well then
Yeah.
that's on him then. You know?
Yeah.
Like if you know, like, but yeah, but he did it. There's already memes. I've seen memes. My Twitter was already like full of him like sleeping and stuff like. And I got no room to talk because I lost my last two like that, and I was made into a meme, and Twitter was all blown up. But I'm telling you right now, when you see all that shit fucking sucks, and that
it does.
Like that sucks. Like yeah, that shit sucks.
I've seen
the game
fighters,
we play, man.
I've seen fighters that will like leave like practice like in pieces, like mentally. You know what I mean? Like they would have just a bad practice and no one's there to criticize them. There's no like Twitter, there's no like memes of them, but they're just shattered. And I'm just like, yo, how could you even handle like the highest level of the sport when you lose, let's say by knockout, and you're on meme. Let's say you're just scrolling through Facebook and you're just like, oh,
and it's just your dead body.
Yeah, it's you. Like, it's like how that's another aspect of that sport, of the sport, is like that you got to be able to have thick skin and just be able to glance over that stuff.
It shit sucks.
You know, you got to be able to scroll, you know what I mean? You got to be able to do that quick.
Yeah, or you got to keep doing that. But when your whole feed's like that, you're just scrolling past your body. You're just like, nah, dude. Like, that shit sucks, man. Like, yeah. Like to personalize it, like, you want to die. Like, it's like the worst thing ever. It is, because you're so focused on, like, I mean, you know what it's like to train for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's singular minded thing. It's this one event that you are completely changing your whole life for.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, you're like, oh, I'm going out and I'm going to win this. And then this other person that's doing the same thing that you did has a say in the matter. And they say, no, you're not going to win. I'm going to win. And then all of a sudden you're from possibly the highest of highs. Now you're literally at the lowest of lows. Not only did you lose that event, you lost the event in front of the world. Bro. And the world is going to be like, just coming at you. And literally, it fucking sucks. It's the worst thing ever. You want to fucking kill yourself, like, all the time. Like, all that shit, you're just like, dude, I don't pick up my phone. I don't go on social media. I don't like no Facebook. Like Facebook isn't bad. Like Facebook's like old people and like political views and like shit like that. Like that's what Facebook is. So if I need to like get like my daily like Facebook fix like after a fight and I lose, I'm going to Facebook. Instagram and Twitter, I am not going on that at all. Because not only are your DMs flooded, but everything on your feed is just you getting your ass kicked. And then everyone's tagging you in it. And then people are tagging you in it like 3 weeks later. And they're like, yo, did you wake up yet? And you're like, this motherfucker. And it brings it right back up. And it brings all those feelings. Yeah, dude, it brings all those feelings back up.
God damn.
This is the age we live in. This is why I guess we get to deal with, these people. And I guess this is why, people can't be upset when certain people lose their shit on people online or meet them in person, or, if people want to fight trolls or do whatever they want to do online. These are the consequences. People got real comfortable with giving their opinions and telling people that they suck without getting punched in the fucking mouth. So
the athletes of the 80s and 90s, they were the luckiest, man, because that was like when technology started to skyrocket. So you had TV and newspapers and ESPN and stuff. It was popping, right? But you didn't have the social media, so you could just like it'll be on TV, but you could avoid watching TV. That's nothing, right? The newspapers, you could just not read the newspaper.
You just turn the TV off.
Exactly. Like it's kind of like they were like those whoever was bitching and complaining about the media back then are fucking pussies, right? Because it's like now it's like times 1,000. Like just imagine like a LeBron, like how much shit is online about his ass. You know what I mean? So,
dude, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what the hell we're gonna get into in the next couple of years. I hope I'm like, I mean, I hope I'm still in the game. Obviously, I hope I'm still in the UFC and everything like that. But this shit it's gonna get worse. Like there's just gonna be people showing up at my house, or like I'm gonna be like walking through. It's gonna be like Minority Report when there's just like cameras like scanning your retinas, and it just adds, and it's just all this crazy shit.
Man, I'm still tripping out about you going on vacation on a scooter and shit.
Jazzy scooter, dude.
Yeah.
Jazzy scooter. Crazy, like legit. Yeah. Like I'll send you pictures. I'll shoot you pictures of my foot. Like it was just, I thought it was cool. I just thought I was just like, I ate leg kicks, no big deal. And then I probably should have went to the hospital. To be honest with you, I probably should have went to the doctor. If I'm being 100% honest, I probably should have got it checked out. My wife's a nurse. Some other family members are in the medical field. They were like, "You're okay." So I was like, "Okay," but then like blood started getting in like crazy spots, and it started getting like my foot was black, and I couldn't like walk. Like I was wearing like a whole compression sock from like my toes up to and maybe including and past my knee, like just to make sure that I was cool. But dude, I was in Disney World. I was in Disney World in the fucking Jazzy. Like just jazzing around, but to my defense, I never fucking use that shit to get into the front of the line. I always stood in line. I don't want nobody putting on no social media or anything saying that I was scheming and I was jumping the line. I always stood in line. If it was a 90-minute wait for a ride, I stood 90 minutes in my broken ass leg.
You should just have the whole family in Jazzy. Like you guys are gang up, just all of you, the whole family.
Just rolling up, just rolling up in Jazzy.
Front of the line, bitch. Like front of the line. Like let's get in there. Let's get on the roller coaster,
man. Dude, that irks me so bad. Like you see people like on Jazzy scooters, and I fucking did it. Like I was like, if I ever was in like an amusement park or anything, and you see like people rolling up on Jazzies or doing whatever they're doing, and they get off and they just park it and they go right to the front of the line, you're like, this motherfucker, man. Working the system. I respect the hustle, but I could never do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Man. You just don't know. Like some of the guys, you're like, do you really need that?
Yeah.
But if your foot is the size of a,
and then I had people recognizing me.
Tree trunk. Your foot is the size of a tree trunk.
And then I had people recognizing me. All my fucking yeah. And like I'm scrolling past this dude, and he's like, Chris Daukaus, there he goes, and I'm like, hey man, like it's crazy.
Like you're like in your neighborhood.
Like I was like, I was like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, luckily, yeah.
It's crazy.
Fuck, man, that's insane. Let's talk about some of this heavyweight shit that's going down now. Let's get into it. You know, they're like
Bring
UFC
it. I've been waiting for it.
UFC 282, right? They announced that Yuri Prohaska is going to defend the title
Yes.
against Glover, right? But they didn't announce it as the main event.
Oh,
So
wait.
Araujo, huh?
No.
So Araujo comes out.
I'm fighting on that card too.
Exactly, right?
I'm on that card.
Yeah, you're
I
on
don't know
that
if you
card,
know that.
right?
Yeah, I'm on that
Oh, I
card.
do know that. I knew that, of course,
I'm on
man.
that
We
card,
talked about it last time.
Yeah.
And Araujo,
That's right.
he released some information about the UFC working on John Jones as the main
Yes.
event of that card versus Francis.
Yes.
But Francis is still recovering from the knee surgery. So the options that they have
Yes.
is Stipe versus John Jones at 282, which is not close to being signed because Stipe doesn't even look like he's, I don't know, who knows what Stipe's doing right now, right? He's firefighting and shit, you know, saving cats from trees.
Yeah,
and shit
and
like
he
that,
posted
right?
something. Yeah, he posted something on Twitter or something, like he was on like vacation. So I mean, it's like what, 8 weeks?
Yes.
I don't think
You know,
Stipe
you're in
is
camp, so
taking
you know
a John
exactly how
Jones fight.
long.
Yeah,
so
it's like 8 weeks. I don't think Stipe is the type of fighter to just be like, I'll fight John Jones on 8 weeks' notice. I mean, he could have already been in camp, and they're just working out the particulars as far as like who's going to be the main event, how much are we doing here, like, are we doing a pay-per-view percentage, like what percentage are we doing, type thing. So I mean, that could be the holdup, and they both could be in camp. I would figure that John would be in camp, and John's like, if John, here we go speculating again, if John really wanted to fight by the end of the year, you would have to think that John would be like, okay, I went on the last pay-per-view card of the year. So he's going to start camp and do whether he's comfortable with 12 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever he's comfortable with doing. I don't know how John normally runs his camps, especially now that he's at heavyweight. So,
well, this is the last pay-per-view card of the year.
Yeah.
This is going to be the last one of the year, right? So,
yeah.
I think John is probably already in camp. I think that's what it is. I would
think so. Yeah. Yeah. I would think that, you know, I would hope that he was already in camp, that he's, you know, obviously people consider him to be the greatest of all time. I mean, but he is a wild man. He can just be like, I'm not starting camp until I get a fight signed, and it could be like 6 weeks out. And he's like, all right, I'll start camp now. And he'll probably fucking do it because he's John Jones.
Yeah. If I'm in Stipe's shoes, I think I hold a lot of cards that some aces.
You
right,
hold
in the
everything.
Back pocket. Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, the Stipe holds a lot of weight in this whole conversation. Because I think that John Jones wants the Stipe fight more than he wants the Francis fight. And I was thinking about this today because I think that the Francis fight, not that Stipe isn't dangerous, I think the Francis fight is way more dangerous. Like to John's health and to John's legacy and to the optics of how this whole move to heavyweight plays out. I think that it's a better move for him to try and fight Stipe than it is Francis.
Well, the two options is right. UFC 282, Jones versus Stipe. If they can get that done, that's the first option. Second option, if they can't get that done, if they can't get that deal signed, then they're gonna wait for Francis for early 2023 against John Jones. But Francis is also in negotiations with the UFC. We don't know what's
about re-signing.
We don't even know when he's going to be. They don't know when he's going to be ready, right? I see Francis coming back when he's ready, not when the UFC's pushing him. You know what I mean? Like he already know what happens when the UFC pushes him. He's just like, fuck you guys, right? So
Francis,
Stipe holds a lot of power right now, man. And like you said, I think Jones does want to fight Stipe because this is his first fight at heavyweight, and they could put the belt on the line with this fight as well. Right? You don't need Francis to put the belt on the line. You just need one of the former champions, which is Stipe.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest fights. Jones, he's gonna sit back. Someone in the comments is saying like he's trying to age out Stipe. Possibly true. I don't know, but I think Stipe is dangerous no matter what. You know what I mean? He's not that old. It's not like he's 45 years old, 50 years old. Right? There's a huge difference. So what if you're in Stipe's shoes? You're probably training already, right? Because that's what fighters do. They train, right? They train. They work at this, at the firehouse, whatever, raises kids and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what would the UFC need to do for you to come back at UFC 282 if you're in Stipe's shoes?
I mean, if I'm being honest,
Mm.
Stipe is probably not the dumbest guy as far as the income that he's received from the UFC.
Yeah.
So I don't technically think he probably needs the money.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point it is strictly about a legacy thing. I think that, Stipe is the greatest heavyweight of all time. John Jones is arguably the greatest light heavyweight of all time. I think that this is a legacy fight for both of them. And to be honest with you, I don't think Stipe needs this fight to cement his legacy in anything. I mean, Stipe literally could just be like, all right, I'm out. Like he doesn't. I don't think Stipe needs Stipe doesn't need this fight. John Jones needs this fight. John Jones needs a heavyweight fight, and he needs a Stipe fight, and he needs a Francis fight. Stipe doesn't need this fight. Francis, in my opinion, doesn't need this fight. I don't think either of them do. Like to cement their legacy, or to go on the record books for anything. I don't think that either of them do. I think this is a John Jones type thing. Like John needs this. John needs this. The however many years it's been since he's been claiming to move to heavyweight. He needs this out of all three of them. So he'll probably be pulling for everyone. He'll be saying whatever he needs to say in the media about to get a fight for either of them. I think that he'll try and pick a fight with Stipe before he tries to pick a fight with Francis. And like you said, Francis is the type of guy to tell the UFC to go fuck themselves. I'm not coming back until I'm ready. And that's even if he re-signs with the UFC. Because he still has to re-sign with the UFC. He's done out of his contract.
You make a good point about that. John Jones needs these fights more than Stipe or Francis needs John Jones. Like that.
Hey, he does.
Completely
And that's
true.
That's true. And that's what people aren't really, that's the elephant in the room that really no one's discussing. Like Stipe could be like, I'm out. I don't need this fight. I'm already the greatest heavyweight of all time. Like I've proven myself against the heavyweights, against the best heavyweights of my time. I'm the greatest heavyweight of all time. Francis is making that case for himself now. He's fighting everyone. He beat everyone. He's beating everyone. Like, so there's going to be that point. I think that if we're being honest, the fight, maybe a trilogy fight with Francis and Stipe for both of their legacies, as opposed to a John Jones fight.
That's what I want. I want to see the trilogy because we got to have one guy above the other, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I was saying, this is a John Jones fight. This isn't a Stipe or Francis fight.
Because it's a win-win for John Jones, Stipe or Francis. It's a win-win because if he loses, it's his first fight in heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
He's fighting
he hasn't
heavyweight
since. Yeah, he hasn't fought since how long?
There's a lot of built-in. I don't want to say excuses, but things that he could fall back on. Not himself personally, but other people that break down the sport.
Correct.
Analysis. Analysis. Is that analysis? No. Analyst. I'm a fucking retard. Analyst.
It's all right, man.
You're the analyst, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we could say, like, oh yeah, John, he's long layoff, his first time and had a heavyweight, he didn't, he had a lot of stuff. It's a win-win for John Jones completely. Because if he goes and fights, let's say Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
I like Curtis Blades, and he's one of the best heavyweights in the world and probably one of the best heavyweights of all time. But he doesn't have that name recognition. He doesn't have that GOAT status that Stipe has and that Francis is working towards, right? He doesn't have those things, and I'm not attacking Curtis Blades, giving you an example. It's like him fighting Derek Lewis. Same thing in a way, right? Yeah. It's like those guys are big names, but it's not the same, like it's not sexy.
It's not. And I think and John, in my opinion, is a smart guy in what he does with his career. Yeah. And I think that Curtis Blades is a bad matchup for him. I think Curtis beats him. I think Stipe beats him. I think Francis beats him. I think they all beat him. I think that, the only one, in my opinion, that he's got a chance of beating, and it's strictly based off of the size, is Stipe. Because Stipe weighed in I think his last fight was like 230 something, and John's walking around at 250, whatever. And John's super long. John's reach is like 84 inches, I think. 83 inches something. I think Stipe's is 80. And John is really good at using his length. I think out of all those guys, out of the top 4 guys in the division, even Gon, I think Stipe. I think that's probably the most winnable fight for John. If we're looking at this, objectively.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the I don't want to say the easiest fight, but I think that's probably the path, the less strenuous path to victory is through Stipe. But like I said earlier, Stipe doesn't need it. Stipe, you literally can tell John Jones to go fuck himself, and he doesn't need it. Just be like, I'm just going to be a firefighter in Cleveland and just hang out with my kids all day. Like that's literally all he can do.
Yeah, it's like Stipe is Stipe, man. His legacy is set in stone. He doesn't have to fight anybody. He doesn't have to go through anything. And that's why he could ask for whatever the fuck he wants. If the UFC really needs him to step in at UFC 282. And I can't wait to see like how it plays out. You know what I mean? Because I think John Jones is ready to fight. I think he's ready to fight.
I think John's
he's antsy.
I think he's finally ready. I think I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's ready to fight, but I also think he has to fight now. I think he has to fight now.
It's just dragging on, right?
Like I'm saying, like I think people are really just tired of the whole move to heavyweight and I'm gonna do it on my own thing, and people are just gonna forget about what he does and what he says. That's why he'll randomly put a tweet out and people will, and then he'll delete it later, and then that's like creates like his name in the media. What the John Jones and do this, and then this whole thing with are they bringing him back? Like he still has to keep his name out there, but he needs. I'm like we've been saying for the past 15 minutes. John needs this. Nobody else in this scenario needs this. Like nobody else in the whole scenario needs this. So we'll see what happens.
I want to see John Jones back. You know what I mean? Whenever a guy that his caliber is gonna come back, I'm excited to see what can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I want to see if he's more dangerous at heavyweight. I want to see what if this is all if this is all like a real thing, or if it's like he's just been blowing smoke, and we'll see how this goes. But I don't know, man. I'm just tired of this whole speculation. The shit or get off the pot. Like let's go, man. Like, are you fighting or not? Like, let's get this going, man. Like, I get it. There's particulars and everything behind the scenes that need to be ironed out. But when it comes down to it, it's either you're fighting or you're not. And everyone wants to get paid. He's got that, your management group or your manager. That's why you pay them. That's why they take a certain percentage, is to know exactly what you want. You say, hey, I want this much money, this much. If it's the pay-per-view, I want this much pay-per-view, whatever, and make it happen. And if you can't make those numbers happen, get me as close as you can and then call me back and then figure it out from there.
Before, we head out, we got about 10 minutes or so. I want to talk about next weekend, UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. It's a sick-ass card. The main event, man, like, this is the fight, right?
I'm going to tell you right now. Ready?
Yeah.
Here's the fight. I'm going to tell you right now. Charles subs. Charles subs him. Calling it right now.
Subs him.
Subs him.
And why do you feel that that's going to happen? I know you're a jiu-jitsu guy. You got a jiu-jitsu background.
I agree. I do have a jiu-jitsu background. Charles is going to sub him. My brother brought this to my point of view, to my attention, and it's really been weighing on my mind ever since he brought it. I don't think Charles is going to sub him off his back. I don't think Charles is going to sub him on top. I don't think Charles is going to be on top. I think Charles is going to sub him off the cage. He's going to lock a submission up off of the cage. Whether it's Islam trying to take him down from strikes, he's going to wrap his neck up. He's going to do something. He's going to take him off the cage. It's really been bothering me, and it's been really like weighing on my conscience. Like, do I place a bet on this? Like, I need like specifics. Like this is really going to happen. I think that he's going to do it. I think Charles is going to sub him off the cage, probably early second round. Yeah, I'm going second round. Oh, baby. I'm getting all nervous. My hands are sweating. I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go.
Habib is super confident, right? He said that
Well, you got to be,
Islam's
right?
gonna
That's your
run
boy.
through Charles. Like, how do
No.
you like run through at that level?
I
It's very
respect
hard to predict something like that.
I respect Khabib and what he's done. I respect Khabib and his opinion, but he's fucking wrong. Sorry, Khabib. You're not. He's not running through. And if he runs through him, he runs through him. I'll eat my words. I'll apologize, but if he runs through Oliveira, there's everyone in that division just needs to just leave the division because no one's beating him. No one is going to beat him. Like Oliveira is really good. Like I really enjoy Oliveira fighting because he comes forward. He's like, all right, let's go, let's swing. You think you're a better striker than me? That's fine. You can knock me down. That's fine. But I'm literally gonna wrap your neck up and I'm gonna strangle you. And he's done that to his last guys? His last 3 opponents? His last 4
And they're
opponents?
all top 5 guys.
Now, granted, they're all top 5 guys, and they're all not, him. They're not Islam. They're not that wrestler, the type of grappler. I get it. But the guys that Islam has fought are not Charles Oliveira. Like Islam's ran through dudes. He's ran through everybody, but Charles. Like I don't think it's happening. Like I respect Khabib. I just don't think he's running through. Charles. I just don't.
That's why I love the sport, man. I love asking fighters about matchups. Fighters always have their inclinations. They see things differently from fans, even from myself. So you see Islam, because Charles is like, he's so like he can finish you anywhere. Like literally, he can finish you on the feet. He can finish you off the fence, on the ground, off his back, on top. He can finish you anywhere. Like nobody is Charles. Like you'll see Islam finish people on the ground, right? Submission, maybe TKO, right? But you don't see him finishing dudes on the feet, knocking them out. You don't see that. Like
it's the variety,
it's the variety of like finishes. But Islam is so strong at what he does, right? He's so like
I know.
So
when
like,
he choked, who was it? Drew Dober. When he choked Drew Dober from top half with the head and arm, that means you gotta fucking. That means if you can choke someone, you gotta fucking squeeze. Like you gotta squeeze, and he's got a squeeze. But I also think that Charles has a squeeze. Like
definitely.
And his super long arms.
Yeah.
He's got a
Darces and guillotines
and just variations of those chokes. I just think it's gonna be a good one, man. I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be super excited. I'm gonna be. I'm not doing anything that day. Like I think the fight card starts at like 2 p.m. Eastern time or something like that. I'm gonna be home. My phone might be off. I'm my kid. I'm gonna get a babysitter. Send my kids away. I'm not doing anything. Like just leave Daddy alone. Just Daddy's gonna sit in front of the TV and just watch this whole card. Just let me be. What do you think is gonna happen?
Fuck, man. I've been asking like all these coaches, all these fighters, exactly like what's gonna happen in this fight, and it's a toss-up, man. And I feel like a lot of people that I'm not saying the fighters are coaches, but I say a lot of people are picking off emotion that they love what Charles has done, and
that's true.
And they don't like Islam or they don't like Khabib. Yeah, they despise the other side, so they want to go. I like both of them too. They're great.
But I just think that Charles has a more varied. He's got more varied options to finish the fight. I think. So we'll see.
So you see, because Charles will come out and he'll just invite chaos.
Yeah, he'll literally like walk you down and just start hitting your elbows and be like, "Okay, take me down. I'm gonna wrap your neck up." And then we're gonna see if Islam does that. And like I was been watching Will Harris Anatomy of a Fighter and all that about the preludes and all that, and Khabib has been saying that he's too good on top and he's never felt it. And it's true, but Islam has never felt anyone like Charles. I get it. And Khabib's making this whole big thing about how Charles has tapped 8 times in the UFC and all this. So Islam, I think Islam has a lot more pressure on him than Charles does. To be honest with you, I think from the media, from Khabib himself, from the pressure from Khabib's dad, and the whole camp. I think there's a lot more pressure on Islam than there is Charles, and I think that's going to play a factor in this.
People like to use MMA math when it's to their advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people like that,
Yeah.
right? They just love MMA
Yeah.
math when it's to their advantage, right? But when someone
Dude,
else tries to use it, they're like, "Nah, hold up."
Nah, like, no, man,
Chill
no,
out.
that ain't gonna work. Yeah.
That's MMA math, man. What are you talking about? It's like bro science, right? Bro
Yep.
science is only good when it's to your advantage. What are you trying to explain?
Bro science and MMA math is never wrong. They're never wrong. Ever.
That's the best. That's the best mix of combination right there to
It
anything
really
in
is.
MMA
It really
and
is.
fighting, right?
Pretty much.
It's
Pretty much.
yeah. If I was gonna put like a bet on it, and I don't know who the underdog. I think it's pretty damn even. If there was even,
I think
odds,
it
and
is pretty close. Yeah.
So
I'm not sure.
I don't know. With the
I'm gonna put
fight
a
so
whole whopping-
even,
Yeah, a whole whopping
fight's-
$10 on Charles.
yeah, $10. Yeah, I'll put like 10
$10
cents on it. Yeah, 10
That's
cents.
it, dude.
Yeah, 10
Nothing
cents.
crazy.
Yeah, nothing nuts. Oh man, I could see Islam taking him to the ground and playing safe for 25 minutes. Like I
Yeah.
can see that happening. Like
Yeah.
doing his thing,
And here's
right?
the-
And he's done it.
Like who's going to be the ref? Also,
Yeah.
that plays a factor, and how quickly is that ref going to be to stand them up or not stand them up or allow them to work in certain positions, like on the cage when Charles subs him off the cage and locks up a darts choke, and he's going to lock up the darts choke and then throw the triangle over top, and he's going to sub him that way. And I can't wait for this to go viral because I called it. So yeah, it's going to happen.
You know they're gonna write. You know they're gonna write headlines off this. They're gonna write headlines off this.
I can't wait till Khabib starts tweeting me like, "You have no idea what you're talking about, brother." Like, I smash you. I come up to heavyweight, I smash you. I'm like, oh god, Khabib, here we go.
He's probably heavyweight right now, dude. He's pretty big.
Dude, from the anatomy of a fighter, he looks like he's a heavyweight, man. That boy big. He's big. He's eating
Mike Swick.
He's eating Coca-Cola.
When I went to Phuket, he runs the AKA Thailand out there.
AKA Thailand, yeah.
Yeah, and he, when Khabib and Islam and that crew first came to AKA, Mike Swick was there the whole time. Trained with all of those guys, and he was telling me that if there was a guy to beat Khabib, it would be Islam. Like that's what he believes. He believes that if anybody could beat Khabib, it would be Islam. And I'm just like,
well, that was always the rumors, and that's what Javier Mendez always said. He's like, the only person to ever beat Khabib in the gym or beat around was Islam. He's the only one to ever do it. I mean, but are we building up, to this mythical creature that is Islam? Like, is this all a part of it? Like, is this what's going to happen? Like, if we need to stop being, mystics and thinking about these gym stories and everything, just solid paperwork, like solid objectivity, I think Charles gets it done. I honestly think Charles gets it done.
Before we go, I'll give you my prediction. I think Charles wins the fight as well, because the reason why, not just to agree with you, but because I just think like you said, he has all these ways to win. And if he does go in there and gets beat up and smashed and subbed or whatever by Islam, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like Islam proves everybody wrong. Like I am the best. And like you said earlier, everybody else just needs to leave the division. It'll be like Amanda Nunes at 145.
Yeah, just stop.
There's a champion with nobody. In the rankings.
No one's beating him. If he does what Khabib says and he runs through Charles, and if there isn't like some kind of sickness or Charles or something like that Charles could be like, no, I have pneumonia, like I can't breathe, or I'm like literally like I have a stomach bug, I'm not that. Like outside of that, everyone's fucked. Everyone is fucked. Literally everyone.
No way. No better way to go out except for that, man. Everybody, appreciate you guys hanging on, and if you have an opinion of Khabib or Islam or Charles, just put it in the comments, and we'll get back to you guys. Make sure you guys go in the descriptions, download the AllStar app for everything, for stats, for alerts, for MMA, for records, for profiles, all of that good stuff. You can catch Chris on there. All the articles, all the interviews he's done, it's on the app.
Come hang out.
Chris is there.
I'm always there.
You know what I mean?
I got nothing better to do. I'm a pro fighter.
He's watching himself.
I got nothing else.
He's watching himself right now.
That's it.
And
just watching myself, just hanging out.
All right, guys. We appreciate you. And Chris, any last words?
Yeah, The Rock. If you want to find me, you know where I'm at. I can't wait for something to go about. Remember this. Everyone screen record this. When Charles subs Islam off the cage, I expect some money in my bank account. Appreciate you guys.